I think it's about time I show you more about this bike and I tell you a quick story. The past 2 years of riding this bike, of building this bike and evolution and all that stuff, because it is actually quite funny. Yes, it is a Tenere 700. It's not a Husky. Actually, the other day there was an old boy. He stopped. He said, "Can I take a picture?" He's like, "Yeah, absolutely." And he was like, "Oh, that's a nice Husqvarna," because he was an old boy and he used to race enduro motocross back in his days, and he saw the age for Husqvarna and it was like an old school style. That's why I like it. I left it there. So he's like, "Oh, this is not a Husqvarna, this is a Yamaha," and he started explaining everything. But he was in love. Proper old school stuff, you know. Big respect to these guys because they've seen the proper days with this sport. Are actually grown up. Anyways, tripod, being professional YouTuber now. Alright, I'm gonna use it. I don't know where that was, but I'm gonna use it for a second. I'm gonna show you around the bike a couple of things. But I need to, let me just put you here if this thing actually is gonna work. Is it gonna work? Maybe. Does it stay? Well, we'll see. So, funny story. Not really funny story. This is a very common story when I fall for the same trick with these companies to sell the bikes. Sells the bike, this kind of bikes. Yamaha employing Tyres, KTM employing other people, you know, buying them to show how easy it is to ride enduro and, you know, these tough adventures on the big bikes and how everything is beautiful and pleasurable, blah blah. They never show how tough it is to pick up the bike when it's upside down, laying on your leg when you're in a ditch. They never show that part of the story, and or how actually difficult it is to get to acquire those skills. I'm not talking about people who, you know, raced all their life enduro and they jump on the big bikes, they can handle them like professionals. I'm talking normal motors, or in my case, people who used to ride road bikes. I used to race, but circuit racing, so everything road bikes, nothing to do with off-road stuff. So for me, it was like, yeah, I want that piece of cake. Yeah, looks simple. How hard could it be? And then yes, I get involved, blah blah. Obviously, I built this, you know, the whole story. I discovered that I don't know how to ride a bike, so I had to get some tuition because I'm impatient. I'm gonna spend years finding the stuff on my own. I'm gonna pay someone to teach me, and that's what I did. Well, you already know. I really worked it, and he's. Hey, I love the guy. He's just honest Welsh guy. I went there. He's like, all right, you're here because you don't know how to write because you shit. It's like, yeah, that's pretty much it. I like you honest, and then because of that, a few lessons, a couple of days with him, well, more than a couple of days with him, and I started racing, and then I loved it, and so I chopped the bike, modified it. You see what it is, Tenere 700, another Husqvarna. Um, and I absolutely loved it. Honestly, I started to break, you know, my ribs, my shoulders. Part of the game. Honestly, it's worth it. I know it's risky, but it's 100% worth it. Even at my age, even being a dad with two daughters, and even owning a business, which is very risky because if you break your leg, this will go tits up. But honestly, from this point of view, it is worth it. But that was the only perspective I had. I never had a dirt bike in my life, and when I was doing fairly alright. Quite simple races, like we are kind of like a rally simulation race, but no navigation, just racing. So you know, the path is there. It's quite simple. I done pretty well. I won a couple of them. I went a few times on the podium. But then last year I've done the British Rally Championship one round. And it was a big eye opening because it's more of an enduro race than a rally race. And I thought, I've done one, I can do that one. Nope. 2 days race, Saturday and Sunday. Saturday was absolutely horrible. I thought I'm gonna die pretty much every 30 seconds. But once you're there, you try. So it was good, but it was also very bad, horrible. And I broke my wheel bearings on the front. That's how tough it was. And I was happy I broke them. So I was like, okay, I got an excuse not to do the Sunday. But then friend of mine gave me the wheelbarrow. He's like, oh, cheers, mate. And so I was forced to do the Sunday because obviously you can't quit, you're not pussy. Even if I really wanted to. Sunday, I started to race just for my own pleasure. I was like, fuck this. I just like this stuff. I have to remember why I'm here. I'm here to learn. I'm here to enjoy myself. And I did. And immediately, well, not immediately, but within a few minutes, I started to flow more, ride better, ride for myself, started to enjoy myself. And I climbed loads of positions up. I really started to be competitive. And I loved it. And that was my second eye-opening. That is not the bike, it is you, the way you ride the bike, your mentality and your skills. Apparently I had enough skills, but I didn't have the right mentality. And then when I had the right mentality on Sunday, I was hungry to acquire more skills. So what I did, I listened to Lee and I got myself a 350 deal bike because of Arnold. They say, you learn on that and you will teach you more skills, more techniques that you can transfer on this. Because otherwise it's very difficult to learn everything on a big bike because you break your legs pretty much. So I bought that bike. Before that was enduro. It was a cross country, which is different. It's a motocross engine. It's a hybrid motocross engine with enduro gearbox, and it doesn't matter. I hated it at the beginning because I didn't know how to ride it. Again, never owned a dirt bike. It was very completely different than this. It's a completely different thing. Don't even compare it. And then I started to learn how to ride it. I loved it, fell in love, and I was like, well, this is redundant. Why would I even want to ride something like this heavy? It's not even comparable when I have a dirt bike, which I don't mind to be a little bit more comfortable. Even if I want to do adventures, I do lightweight adventures. I put the panniers on it, I put the tow on it, which is they have. For some reason, I like to race, even race with the nafta. I just so used to it, I just like it. And I was like, that's what I want to do. And they say, no, just be patient. Don't be usually you. Taking decisions within 5 minutes. T7 has its own place. You'll find out. I was like, no, I want a smaller bike. So I was looking into getting a 500. Their bike, XC KTM 500. People goes around the world with them. Turns out 2 people went around the world with them because they are very uncomfortable on the road. But then what I found out, the more I raced that Husky, the better I went on that Husky. I forgot about the T7. But when I jumped back on the T7, I immediately, without even warming up, rode this bike way, way, way better than when I left. So the Husky really bumped my skills levels that I immediately transferred on this, which I wasn't expecting. Well, Lee told me that's going to happen, but I didn't believe him. Stupidly. But it did. So when you're not able to do something on the big bikes, usually it's not the bike, it's you. And so there was 3 stages. First stage was like, oh, Portares can do it, I can do it. By the bike, oh, Portares, the usual story, right? And you can ride it, all right? You try to ride it, and you're somewhere there. It's like, all right, it's still struggle, it's still heavy, blah blah. You have some good results, but you're not 100% happy. Then you go to show their bike is like, oh, why am I even considering this? But then you find out that these are actually way more capable than you think they were at the second stage. You just need skills to be able to use them. The more skills you have, the more capable these are. And I fell in love with this for the second time now. And I want to keep this bike. I'm going to sell it, blah, blah, blah. No. First of all, I'm going to lose too much money, obviously, but it's just a beautiful machine. I can, a lot of people can do it, a lot of people better than me. But I can comfortably do all the hard green lanes in UK. On the Welsh ground, some of them, they're tough, they're gnarly as fuck. And we bash the bikes a lot up and down, sometimes it doesn't even make sense, but we can do it. So the limit for adventure is very high on what they can do. But they're very sensitive on what you can make them do it. So, my 2 cents in this is like, Once you bought yourself a bike, give it time. Now you invested 10 grand in a bike, 15 grand in a bike, probably 2 or 3 grand in accessories and tires and wheels and brakes and naphtha or whatever suits you. Or even if you start now, let's say you spend 15 grand. How much are you willing to spend on your skills? Because the bike really relies on your skills. And this is what I found. And it works only now, after over 2 years, it really started to work for me. I'm ready to do big rallies, the long 5-6 days, Hellas and all that stuff. Easy, well, easy. No, it's not easy, it's never easy, but I'm saying I'm capable of doing that. I'm not saying I'll learn everything, because every day you learn more and more and more, but I am able to do it, and I'm very happy. And I will still choose the Husky, a small bike, to do racing, but if I have to do it on this, I'm more than happy to do it on this. But now I know what I want. I want this to be my unicorn bike for adventure stuff, because we can do this hard lanes, I can race with this, I can also jump 80 miles an hour all day long. This motor, 80 miles, fine, no problem. Even in one helmet, motocross helmet, I mean, after 50 you struggle, 60 top. But with adventure helmet, 80 miles an hour, and it's absolutely fine. Panniers, they still fit in a fuel tank. I made mounts, so I have pegs for my missus if you want to go out. I'll show you that. Pegs, I can't show you because they kind of clip here and they slide here. The seat for her is not very great, but I have a solution. There you go. Good enough. Honestly, it's good enough. I mean, sometimes you don't have to have everything perfect. I mean, there's nothing is perfect about one motorcycle. If it's perfect in one way, it's very bad in another way. You just have to find what's perfect for you, and that'll be okay. It doesn't have a massive, obviously. I know there's no graphics on the side. New plastics. She's very slim, not as slim as a dirt bike, but pretty damn close. There's not much wind protection for your legs, but who cares about that? I'll never care about that either way. So there you go. Put the panniers on it. This for my tools and all this stuff. I want to stash my levers under there because this moves. I can do something. I can stash them there with some kind of quick disconnect stuff. And now it's time to replace the pre-filters. Carpet and navigation, this works both for traveling, adventure, green lane finding and GPX files, as much as for racing, because today road books are all electronic as well. It's simple. The bike is race ready. It's probably one of the best T7s in the world, as I'm not being cocky about this. I've spent tons of money and time and development on this bike. I can easily say it. Not because it's my bike, because it's true. I've done everything that Yamaha does on their bikes, plus, because obviously I don't have to stick to the limits they have. So there you go. Now, to adventurize this bike, put it back in adventure, obviously I removed the back wheel. I put a standard wheel with this shitty tire. I really don't like them. Trackers, well, on the dry they're alright, but the problem is 140. Usually the 140 tire on the standard T7 rim fits alright, and the tracker is the only tire that fits completely rubbish. You see, there's no curvature. It's almost square tire. It looks impressive. It looks good. Nice and beefy. But there's no curvature, so this is crap. I should have put this one. I got a Pirelli Scorpion Rally. The only thing is, winter is coming. It's gonna be wet tarmac. I don't know how this is gonna behave. It feels very, very hard, very stiff as a tire. So it should be very resistant for long distance rallies. But I don't know. Plus, I should, but I'm lazy. This tire was already on that rim, so I just put it on. Because today I just want to take my missus out, because again I've done those pegs for her. I want to see if she's comfortable enough for short distance riding together. She's riding her own bike now, so we don't have to go on one, but sometimes we do. I still have to change my front tire. She's still alright-ish. You know, you may notice they kind of consume themselves, like one yes, one no, one yes, one no. But it's still alright. I mean, be fine. It means also removing obviously the whole. Obviously, I'm not gonna remove the whole front wheel because my front wheel is on the 750, because the 750 has the whole front end. I'm not gonna remove it because I want to sell the bike as it is, and it's very valuable because the front end is, you know, just the wheel. The front wheel is 400-500 quid. So, but again, if this doesn't sell, I probably adapt another different wheel, or I put the standard forks on this and I keep the forks, or sell them separated. I'm gonna keep that wheel as a spare. So I have my race wheels with the mousses and race tires, front and back, and then front and back wheels and tires already for adventure kind of riding. Adventure riding, I'm gonna do it on tubes. I'm not a big fan of tubes. Actually, I hate them. I would do them even for adventure. I would still use a desert mousse on the back. Yeah, but that rim is too wide then. Yeah, no, it's bullshit. Tubes it is then. Not great, but on the front I would probably still use a mousse even on the standard rim because it's narrow enough. But for now I have to just change that tire on that rim, and mousse will be fine on my own, but if I have to ride anyway with my missus, we start getting a little bit too heavy. Also, when you ride with the mousses, even on the tarmac, you ride kind of like on the flat tires. That's the sensation. It's completely fine, but the way you riding is different. You lean the bike in like on a dirt, even on the tarmac, and with the pillion on the back, that will be tiny. That will be, you know, needs coordination. It's not relaxing. It's not really great. So the downside of the taking the risk of getting a puncture with the tubes, I think, is, you know, acceptable in that case. The only thing, to be able to run the tubes, you have to be self-sufficient. So you have to have all of this stuff which is in this bag. Means I have to find a place for this bag which is not lightweight. But what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna put them kind of somewhere here, which is not ideal because if you crash the bike, you smash whatever is inside there, most likely. And what's inside here, it's a great bags, by the way. I use them and abuse them, very cheap on eBay, and waterproof, really are waterproof. As you can see, I've tested it many times. So obviously not taking the risk of fucking up there's the gloves there, and this is a 21-inch tube, and I have another 2 tubes. One of them will go in that rim, and one of them is gonna be an 18-inch. I can't remember which one. So I have my tire levers. I have a patch kit just in case. You know, you never know. You change your tube and then you blow it anyway. So a small bicycle pump. It'll take ages to pump it up, obviously we do it. Tools to remove the front and back wheel just in case, and a bit of a crutch because this can extend to whatever length you need. This could be double of the length, and you use it as a side, the oldest side stand, so you can lift front or back wheel using your original side stand. Obviously one of these, the gauge, and the compressor. The compressor is a Chinese, more eBay special one. But guess what? We went in France. I pumped a Harley Davidson tire on this, and they're alright. They're actually good. And you have a gauges there and everything. Battery actually lasts quite long. You have your light if you want as well. It's good. The problem is, like I said, all of this is inside there. I'm not too worried about this because, you know, tire levers, if you bend them, who cares? Tools, yeah, if you bend them, who cares? You're not going to break them. Tube, no problem if you smash it. But if you break the compressor, that's not really good. Not because it's expensive, because it's cheap, but you have to be able to pump your tires. Hence I have a spare bicycle pump. pumping that tire with that pump is gonna take ages, but you're still, able to do it, unless you break that one as well, because you smash into 100 kilograms of a bike against this if you crash on the rocks or something. Because being here, you got the ground on one side of this bag, on the other side you have the frame or the bash plate. It's hard stuff and it's heavy when you crash it, so it's kind of not ideal place to have it. But what else you gonna do? I mean, it is what it is. Unless I could hide the compressor somewhere else. Like for example, on this sheet I had, that could be a good idea. This is all this sheet I had. This is slightly lower. I've remade this one, which as you can see, different profile, nice and flat, awesome. It's just too soft. I know, but it literally is too soft. It collapses and you literally sitting on the bottom there. So I needed, I don't know, a gel or something a bit more, I don't know, harder. But there's plenty of space because those seats underneath are exactly the same. You see, they're kind of hollow. I may put a compressor there, so maybe less of a risk. I don't know, I still have to find out. Other thing, I could put a compressor here. I don't know if you've seen it, but before I had a massive round headlamp, which is great. It makes the night into a day. Now I have the small ones, which they are acceptable. They're not great, they're acceptable. Still Chinese, probably like 10 quid on eBay each. It's good enough, If you're not flying, like very, very fast country lanes, it's good enough. So maybe I could put a compressor there. You see, as I'm talking to you, I have ideas. Yeah, why not? Yeah, it's fucking perfect space for it. There you go. Thank you very much for the idea. And then on the other side I have more space for more stuff, maybe there. You don't want to be too heavy, but that's very light, it's just a case. It looks big, but it's not. Inside it's very tiny. And this is quite light, so yeah. Oh, bloody hell. That's, you see? There's always a way around it. Actually, before I had a tube there. No. That's alright, not too bad. Only thing is, if I'm on my own, these are 36 liters, both of them, and you can pack them probably even more. So you can pack them probably even more, which I think will be enough. Plus you can have these side panniers like these ones, 2 of them, or maybe even slightly bigger ones on the sides. On the top I can put obviously my tent and a sleeping bag and more stuff if I want to travel and also do some camping. But if I got my missus on the back, I don't think we'll be able to put anything on the back here, or not too much. Or maybe when they inflate it full of stuff, maybe something across. I don't know. Then I probably have to put a tent and a sleeping bag on the side of the motorcycle, like packed up to here. Which not a problem, because I want to make like from the frame to the bottom there, kind of like a crash bar, just to protect the radiator. And I could use those crash bars and this obviously bash plate to mount more stuff. So there are ways around it. Yeah, I think this still could be a good adventure bike. Yeah, obviously put a bigger plate on it because sooner or later I'm gonna get pulled over for this one. I mean, for now we're only using off-road and competition, but now, yeah, something slightly big. Not full size because this is gonna be ripped off, but slightly bigger just to show them that you're at least trying. Yeah, so this is it. My Accra is a bit, yeah, you've seen better days, to say the least. Other than that, the bike is absolutely fantastic and probably one of the best bikes for adventure. Not the best because you can't say it. There's no such a thing, but one of the best, especially for me because I'm really after reliability. And this thing, I've been through some abuse, and a friend of mine, Gareth, he abuses his bike way more than I do. Way he's a better rider than me, and Jesus, he really treats it like a dirt bike, and yeah, it's absolutely fine. So they are fantastic bikes. What else can I say? I think this is it. The bike is what it is. I'm sorry for the mess in the workshop, not even having space to put the bike to make a proper video about it. But it's chaos here at the moment. But we see. Yeah, no, it is a fantastic bike, and every time I have a doubt about that, all I have to do is take it for a ride. And to be honest, you know, all I have to do is put some more road-friendly tires. Even this piece of crap, you know, Michelin tracker, just because it's not on the moves and it's gonna be a bit harder. And I'm gonna put this like almost finished tire, but with some more PSI in it than the moose is simulating. It's almost, well, almost, not almost, much more pleasure to ride on the road and still good enough off-road. So yeah, I want to use it for kind of adventure stuff and then racing and training on a Husky. Yeah, I don't know. I think that's it. Oh, the hangers, yeah, I removed them because I put them on my Husky because my missus is training on the Husky. Well, learning how to ride the Husky and she's dropping it, and you know, I want some good hangers for her. They very open here, like they have massive space, so it's very unlikely you're gonna break your wrists. And you know, I need to look after her more than myself. So, but I need to get new hangers for this. She deserves them anyway. So there you go. Besides that, it's brilliant. Absolutely love it. I think that's it. Back to work. This is getting somewhere there. It's taking shape. It's almost ready for mapping. About 570, 550 brakes, hopefully. But and then back, you know, on the road. And yeah, fuck me. Anyways, I see you soon.